Our today's chapter is control and coordination. Control, as it is clear by name, both the things are clear by name. Control means control, you understand the word, meaning of that word. We are studying control of our body, so there is something, we is controlling our body. We move, we stand, we sit, we talk, all the things we do. So, or sometimes we put our finger on the fire, we just immediately remove it from the fire. So it is under control of something. And what is that thing? That is our brain.
Brain.
Now, coordination. Coordination, students, we hear about this word in our daily life. What is coordination? Coordination means, students, as I am teaching you, okay, I am writing the same thing related to it, I am speaking the same thing, I am hearing the same thing, means all the things related to this chapter. So all the things are going on in coordination. I am not doing like that, that I am teaching you control and coordination, I am hearing something else, I am writing something else. No, we are moving in a same track. So this one is coordination, all the things are means working in integral form, coordinate form. Okay, start to
Yes,
read.
ma'am.
Prisha, start to read.
I'm from where?
In the previous chapter,
Okay, in the previous chapter, we looked at life processes involved in the maintenance functional in living organisms. There, we had started with a notion we all have that if we see something moving, it is alive. Some of these movements are in fact the result of growth. As in plants, a seed germinates and grows, and we can see that seedling moves over a course of a few days. It pushes soil aside and comes out. But if its growth were to be stopped, these movements would not happen. Some movements, as in many animals and plants, are not connected with growth. A cat running, child playing on swings, buffaloes chewing cud, they are not movements caused by growth.
growth. Students, in previous chapter, life processes, we learned that if something is living, so there should be movement. In case of plants, we studied about the growth. Growth means seedling moves over the soil course of a few days, it pushes the soil aside and comes out. So this one is movement, and this movement is related to growth. Sometimes what happens, there is movement in living organism, but it is not related to growth, like a cat running, children playing on swings, buffaloes chewing cud. These are not movement caused by the growth, but still these are moving. In life processes, we discussed, if some person, any person is sleeping, so is it living, non-living? There is no movement. No, there is movement. Involuntary actions like breathing, hmm, and heart, function of heart, digestion, all the things are going on. We have studied about these things in previous chapter. Thanya, now we start to read. Why do we associate?
Why do we associate such visible movements with life? A possible answer is that we think of movement as a response to a change in the environment of the organism. The cat may be running because it has seen a mouse. Not only that, we also think of movement as an attempt by living organisms to use changes in their environment to their advantage. Plants grow out into the sunshine. Children try to get pleasure and fun out of swinging. Buffaloes chew cud to help break up tough food so as to be able to digest it better. When bright light is focused on our eyes or when we touch a hot object, we detect the change and respond to it with movement in order to protect ourselves.
So, friends, we are studying about the movement which is not related to growth. Then why this movement takes place? This movement takes place for the response of a particular stimuli. Okay, like cat. Cat has seen a mouse, so it will start running. Plant, it grows out into the sunshine. Children play to get pleasure. and fun out for swinging. Buffaloes chew cud. Why? Because break up tough fur, so as to able to digest it better. So means why this movement for the response of stimuli, and it is like positive response. We enjoy, we eat. I am sitting here, there is no any other stimuli, I am sitting. Suppose anything is coming from here, firstly I will move. Okay, so means to give positive response to stimuli, we move. Bright light is focused on our eyes. We touch a hot object. When bright light focused on our eyes, suddenly we close our eyes. We touch a hot object, we remove our hand. Okay, so what happened there? We detect the change and respond to it with movement in order to protect ourselves. So why movements? Movements to protect ourselves. Hmm? Movement to entertain, movement to enjoy. Prisha, third paragraph.
Hmm. If we think a bit more about this, it becomes apparent that all this movement in response to the environment is carefully controlled. Each kind of change in the environment evokes an appropriate movement in response. When we want to talk to our friends in class, we whisper rather than shouting loudly. Clearly, the movement to be made depends on the event that is triggering it. Therefore, such controlled movement must be connected to the recognition of various events in the environment followed by only the correct movement in response. In other words, living organisms must use systems providing control and coordination. In keeping with the general principles of body organization, in multicellular organisms, specialized tissues are used to provide these control and coordination activities.
Control and coordination activities. If we think a bit more about this, till now we thought why movement is taking place. It is due to growth. If growth is not there, then we are responding to the stimuli. Positive response is there. Now, what we think means if we think bit more about this, it becomes apparent that all these movement in response to environment is carefully controlled. So something is there which is controlling these movements. Okay, there is appropriate movement in response. When we want to talk to our friends in class, so we whisper. So something is controlling ourselves that during the class no need to shout, you have to speak slowly rather than shouting loudly. Clearly the movement to be made depends on the movement that is triggering it. So such controlled movement must be connected to the recognition of various events in the environment and correct movement in response. There should be correct movement. In other words, living organism must use system providing control and coordination. So we are studying about this topic in this chapter, control and coordination in multicellular organism body organization. Okay, there are some general principles. Specialized tissues which are providing these controlled and coordinated movements. Are you okay with it?
Yes, ma'am.
In animals we will study about the nervous system. Firstly, write down today's topic name with today's date, that is 3rd of August. Control and coordination. Living organism respond and react to various stimuli like heat, light, cold, touch, pressure, etc. Okay, Yes, students, have you written?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Plants,
ma'am.
plants and animals both respond to stimuli but in different manner. Different manner but controlled and coordinated. Example: withdrawal of hand on touching a hot object. Okay, withdrawal of hand on touching a hot object. Now write down the topic: control and coordination in animals. Okay, friends? Are you writing, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Control. Now next heading: control and coordination in animals. It is brought about in all animals with the help of two main systems. It is brought about in all animals with the help of two main systems. Can you tell me about these two main systems? First one is
Ma'am, it is brought about
brought about in all animals
in all animals
with the help of
with
Nervous system.
the
two main
help of
system.
Central and peripheral nervous system.
Nervous system, and second is endocrine system. We will study about these two systems in this chapter. Okay, friends?
yes, ma'am.
So nervous system, firstly we will discuss about it, and after that we will start reading. Can you recognize this structure?
Yes, ma'am.
This is,
Neurons.
what is neuron?
Ma'am, it's a
Nerve cell.
single
Nerve cell.
nerve cell.
Nerve cell. And this is the structure of neuron, and one more thing, it is the longest cell of our body. This one is nucleus, this one cell body, dendrite. Dendrite, you can see, students, hair like structure. So information is received from here, and this is the path where the gap. These are two cushion type structures. There is gap. It is known as axon, and this one is known as myelin sheath. Information goes in single way. This one ending of neuron, nerve ending, and here another neuron will start. Here is the gap. This gap is known as synapse. Okay, and information in the neuron move as impulse, electrical impulse. In this way information moves. Are you okay with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we'll study about it. And as it moves, it goes to the brain by the receptor, and then we get order to do controlled and coordinated movement. Start. In animals, hmm,
Ma'am, who is starting?
in an
In
animal nervous,
animals, in animals, such control and coordination are provided by nervous and muscular tissues, which we have studied in class 9th. Touching a hot object is an urgent and dangerous situation for us. We need to detect it and respond to it. How do we detect that we are touching a hot object? All information from our environment is detected by the specialized tips of some nerve cells. These receptors are usually located in our sense organs, such as the inner ear, the nose, the tongue, and so on. So, gustatory receptors will detect taste, while olfactory receptors will detect smell.
so students, we are studying about the nervous system. Nervous system in animals. Such control and coordination are provided by nervous and muscular tissues. We studied in class 9th. Nervous and muscular tissues. Touching a hot object is an urgent and dangerous situation. Dangerous situation means if we will not remove hand immediately, then our skin can burn. So it is very urgent and dangerous situation, and information order should be given in just few seconds. If it will take time, during that time our skin can burn. So we need to detect it, we need to respond to it. How we detect that we are touching a hot object? Information from our environment is detected by specialized tips of some nerve cells, and these specialized tips, this one, these receptors are usually located in our sense organs. Like sense organs, you know, students, ear,
Yes, ma'am.
nose, tongue, and besides that, skin,
Eyes.
eyes. So, like gustatory receptor, it detect taste, tongue. Olfactory receptors will detect smell. Sense organs are the organs which connect us to the our external environment. This information, yes, Thani, you continue.
This information, acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell, sets off a chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. This impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical impulse sets off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap, or synapse, and start a similar electrical impulse in the dendrite of the next neuron. This is a general scheme of how nervous impulses travel in the body. A similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from neurons to other cells, such as muscle cells or gland.
Muscle cells or gland. So this information acquired at the tip of dendritic tip of nerve cell. You remember about the dendritic tip?
Yes, ma'am.
This one. Dendritic tip of nerve cell, hmm, sets off a chemical reaction. This chemical reaction creates electrical impulse. Here it is the working of neuron. This impulse travels from dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. I already told you, at the end of axon the electrical impulse sets off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap, and this gap is known as synapse. Remember the word synapse, this is the gap between two neurons, and start a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. This is a general scheme and how nervous impulses travel in the body. Dendrite, cell body, axon, then nerve end, synapse, and then again second neuron. A similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from neuron to other cell like muscular cells, neuromuscular junction. This one axon, this one is muscle fiber. Okay, capillary, and this one is neuromuscular junction. Here information is going. Okay, friends. Now
Yes,
write down the heading nervous system in your notebook. Nervous system functions to receive the information from the environment. Second function, to receive the information from various body parts. First point which we written, to receive the information from environment, ब्रैकेट में क्या लिखेंगे? It is stimuli. To receive the information from various body parts, response. Okay, and to act accordingly through muscles and glands. To act accordingly muscles and gland. Now write down the heading stimulus. Any change in environment or within that bring about the reaction. Example, touching a hot plate. Are you writing, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Next heading,
Yes, ma'am.
response. The reaction of our body to these changes. Example, withdrawal of our hand. Okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this it is thus no surprise that nervous tissue is made up of an organized network of nerve cells or neuron. Okay, nervous system, nerve tissue, and it is made by nerve cells, that is neuron. Write down the heading neuron. Write down the heading neuron. Is structural and functional unit of nervous system. Is structural and functional unit of nervous system. Written neuron. Students, you have to prepare this diagram in your notebook. Okay, so you will write, you have written the heading neuron. It is a structural and a functional unit of nervous system. After that, write down the heading, identify the parts of a neuron. Yeah, simple, you write the parts of a neuron. Firstly, we have written neuron. Neuron we have written is structural and functional unit of nervous system. After that, parts of a neuron.
Mom,
Yes.
ma'am, earlier in the previous paragraph, there's this line that says all information from our environment is detected by specialized tip of some nerve cells.
Hmm.
So they mentioned the word receptors, so we only call them as receptors.
Yes, you can call them receptors. You can write it.
Okay.
After that, parts of a neuron. First part, you will write this statement: where information is acquired. Which part is that? Information is acquired?
Dendrite.
Then right. Very good. You have to write it. You can get question in this way also. Part of neuron where information is acquired. You have to write where information is acquired, that is dendrite. Second is through which information travels as an electrical impulse.
Axon.
Axon. You have to write this statement and after that you will write axon. Third one, where this impulse must be converted into a chemical signal for onward transmission.
Ma'am, can you repeat the second sentence slowly? Through which
Second,
the electrical.
yeah, here it is. Here only. We are writing questions from book. Through which information travels as an electrical impulse. That is axon. After that, third one, where this impulse must be converted into a chemical signal for onward transmission. Yes, Prisha. Third one.
Ma'am, I should read.
No, no, no. You have to reply where this impulse must be converted into a chemical signal.
Ma'am, synapse.
Synapse. Very good.
Ma'am,
Firstly,
but the impulse, the chemicals are released at the nerve ending, no, ma'am. Then
the,
only turns to a chemical impulse and crosses the synapse.
yes,
So should we say nerve ending or synapse?
synapse. Impulse must be converted into a chemical signal. So this
So
is
that
the point where nerve ending and synapse start from there only.
if they mention where chemicals are released to turn it into a chemical signal,
Signal.
then it would be nerve ending.
Nerve ending. Then you can write nerve ending.
Okay.
And chemical signal, this goes through the synapse. After that, we will write one line related to synapse. In synapse, part where electrical signal, we are writing about synapse. Part where electrical signal is converted into a chemical change, sorry, is converted into chemical message for onward transmission to next neuron by release of neurotransmitters. If you will get definition of synapse in examination, what you will write? Part where electrical signal is converted into chemical message for onward transmission to next neuron by release of neurotransmitters. Okay. After that, write down the heading nervous tissue. In nervous tissue, we will write nervous tissue is made up of an organized network of nerve cells or neurons and is specialized for conducting information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. Till now, students, have you written all the things?
Yes, ma'am.
What about Prisha? What is neuron, nervous tissue, synapse,
Yes,
parts
ma'am.
of neuron, response, stimuli, what
Hmm.
is control and coordinated motion? Now, we'll read about activity 7.1. Students, learn it today only. There will be no burden. Now, activity 7.1. Read it, Thanya.
Put some sugar in your mouth. How does it taste? Block your nose by pressing it between your thumb and index finger. Now eat sugar again. Is there any difference in its taste? While eating lunch, block your nose in the same way and notice if you can fully appreciate the taste of the food you are eating.
Can you explain it, Thanya?
Ma'am, I don't know what would be the result because I don't know if closing our nose can actually affect
Yes,
our taste.
yes. There will be difference in the taste because we will not get the taste if our nose is blocked. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Difference in how sugar food tastes if your nose is blocked. If so, why might be this happening? Now question is, there will be test, it is there will be change in the taste, it is fixed, but why it is happening? Read and talk about possible explanation for these kinds of differences. Do you come across a similar situation when we have cold? It sometimes happens. Suppose we are having cold, we say we cannot smell, we cannot taste because
Yes.
our nose is blocked at that time. So
Ma'am,
our
so how
recept
do they work together?
yeah, they are not working.
Olfactory and gustatory receptors.
Olfactory and gustatory, as we smell the food, as we eat something, these receptors near about at same place. Here, olfactory, gustatory, we smell the food, then we eat, we taste it. Are you getting? And both information goes to the brain. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's why. So what happens in reflex action? What is reflex?
A sudden
Ma'am, a
involuntary
sudden movement.
action
Hmm.
in
Write down the,
response in an emergency situation.
yes. Actually, we response reflex, you told correctly, Thanya. But if there is no emergency situation, suppose we eat the food, so what is next process? Digestion. So
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is not like as emergency, but our brain give the order, digestion will be started. So
Ma'am,
it
but you
is
said reflex action, and
huh,
reflex action is always in an emergency situation. Involuntary actions need not be in an emergency situation,
yeah,
right?
involuntary is not in emergency, but these are like I was hungry, my mouth started watering, reflexly, means response, it is response. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
I will explain it later, all the things will come. Now write down the heading reflex. Reflex is a word No need to write in the bookish language. You write only some sudden action in response to something in the environment. This one is reflex. And response, as I told you, we eat food. Okay. Digestion starts, we are breathing, all the things means. It is correct response is sudden action. Some sudden action in response to something in the environment. Okay, students? And
Yes.
after the class, you have to prepare the diagram of neuron. Okay, we'll do sample paper. We'll continue control and coordination tomorrow at the same timing, but now we'll do sample paper. These are the instructions and Hindi medium weight. This one. Tanya, can you see my screen now?
No, ma'am.
No,
Ma'am,
okay.
I can see.
Prisha, you read the question. Tanya, listen
Okay, ma'am.
carefully.
When 2
2
milliliters of sodium hydroxide solution is added to a few pieces of granulated zinc in a test tube and then warmed, the reaction that occurs can be written in the form of a balanced chemical equation as.
wait. So here, Tanya, listen to me carefully. 2 ml, you can write the data also. 2 ml of sodium hydroxide solution. It is added to few pieces of granulated zinc. Granulated zinc means like zinc in the form of grain in a test tube and then warmed. So what is the formula of sodium hydroxide? What?
NaOH.
N
A,
NaOH.
OH.
What is the formula of zinc?
Zn.
Zn.
Zn. Here base is reacting with zinc. Then what will be the product? We have done this reaction. It is textbook reaction. Yes, Prisha and Thanya.
Ma'am, it'll give us salt plus hydrogen gas. Eh?
Hydrogen gas. And which salt?
Mm,
Sodium zincate.
Sodium zincate.
sodium
Very
zinc.
good. And what is the formula of sodium zincate?
NaZn.
Na2ZnO2.
हाँ तो ऑप्शन बी.
Option B. We have to balance it in this way. Very good. Tanya, are you okay with it? Balanced
Yes,
chemical
ma'am.
equation when sodium hydroxide reacts with zinc means base is reacting with metal. So 2NaOH plus Zn gives Na2ZnO2 which is a salt named as sodium zincate and evolution of hydrogen gas. Learn this reaction right now. Don't think we will learn it later. जो आ रहा है अभी hand to hand learn करते चले जाओ. Now second question. Prisha, read the question.
Select the following: a decomposition reaction in which source of energy for decomposition is light.
Students, now remember what is decomposition? Breaking down of a substance into two or more components.
Ma'am, it's option C.
Very good. And when decomposition is taking place in presence of light, it is known as
Photolytic decomposition.
photolytic. Hanya, are you getting also?
Yes, ma'am.
And the reaction which takes place photolytic decomposition is the decomposition of silver bromide, silver chloride, like that. So here option is given 2AgBr gives 2Ag plus Br2. So option is C. Very good. Thanya, did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
And one more thing, this reaction means this one is used in photography. Remember about it?
In black and white
Black
photography.
and white photography. Now third one. Thanya, Prisha will read the question and will read the option. You have to reply it.
Ma'am, not me.
Yes, Prisha, you will read the question. Don't reply it and read the option. Thania will give the
Okay,
answer.
ma'am.
Third one.
A metal and a non-metal that exists in liquid state at room temperature are respectively bromine and mercury. Option B, mercury and iodine. Option C, mercury and bromine. Option D, iodine and mercury.
Ma'am, I don't understand the question.
Here they are asking about the metal which is in liquid state at room temperature and non-metal which is in liquid state at room temperature.
Ma'am, can I answer?
एक second. Tanya, now you got the question. So metal which is in liquid state at room temperature. Yes, Prisha.
Ma'am, it's option B, mercury and iodine.
Mercury and bromine. Bromine in liquid
Ma'am,
state. Brown liquid,
ma'am, but
yes.
bromine is a metal, na?
No, non-metal.
No?
No, no, no.
Acha.
Bromine,
Then it will be mercury and bromine.
mercury and bromine. Bromine, mercury, sorry, bromine, iodine, fluorine, chlorine. These comes in the category of halogens. All these are non-metals. So
Hmm.
metal which is in liquid state, that is mercury. Non-metal which is in liquid state at room temperature is bromine. Tanya, are you okay with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Prisha. Now read the question slowly so that Tanya can also get.
Okay, ma'am. Carbon compounds. First, are good conductors of electricity. Second, are bad conductors of electricity.
Hmm.
Third, have strong forces of attraction between their molecules. Fourth, have weak forces of attraction between their molecules.
So here,
So you have to choose the correct statement,
hmm,
and the options are first and second, second and third, second and fourth, and first and third.
hmm. Here they are discussing about the carbon compounds. Good carbon compounds are good conductors of electricity. Yes or no?
Yes.
No,
No.
no. Carbon compounds. Only graphite,
Acha,
which,
हाँ.
okay, so carbon compounds are bad conductors of electricity. It means option 2. Second,
Two.
next option, have strong forces of attraction between their molecules.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, as we write, like graphite. So how can we write? Because there is no strong force. Graphite layers come out. Are you getting the point?
Yes, ma'am.
So they don't
Option
have
C.
strong force. They have weak forces of attraction between their molecules.
Ma'am, can you discuss only the MCQs of my question paper now?
Right. Tomorrow I will discuss because we have only 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Ma'am,
Tomorrow
there's only 25 MCQs. I'll
I
just
I will,
discuss what I've written.
no problem. Tomorrow I will discuss definitely. Okay?
Okay.
Consider the following compounds. Ferrous sulfate FeSO4, copper sulfate, calcium sulfate and sodium carbonate. And you have to remember about the water of crystallization. This question also from your textbook. FeSO4 में कितने water of crystallization होते हैं?
Four.
FeSO4 में 4, then copper sulfate,
5. नहीं नहीं, 4 ही होते हैं.
calcium
मैम
sulfate
इसमें मैम
and
इसमें भी तो 4 ही है.
किस में 4?
इसमें 5 है.
बताना शुरू करो. In ferrous sulfate,
मैम इसमें 4 होंगे.
ferrous sulfate में 4, copper sulfate,
4.
calcium sulfate,
4.
सब में 4 हैं और सोडियम कार्बोनेट.
5.
Wait. Now, Thanya, you start to tell. Ferrous sulfate, water of crystallization.
Uh, Ma'am, I don't remember.
Don't remember. देखो सोडियम कार्बोनेट में तो 10 है. कैल्शियम सल्फेट, यू रिमेम्बर जिप्सम, प्लास्टर ऑफ पेरिस.
Half it was
हाफ
written.
हाफ और 2, दोनों थे. In case of plaster of Paris it was half, and in case of gypsum it was 2. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
कॉपर सल्फेट, कॉपर सल्फेट में 5, कॉपर सल्फेट 5, एंड फेरस सल्फेट, फेरस सल्फेट 7, ferrous sulfate is 7. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So maximum water of crystallization is present in
Sodium carbonate.
sodium carbonate, 10H2. One more thing students, calcium sulfate having 2, like this is for plaster of Paris and this one is for gypsum. But suppose you are getting a optional type question, how many water of crystallization is present in calcium sulfate, we will write 2, because we are getting plaster of Paris after heating it, but mainly 2 water of crystallization is there. Are you getting?
Mm,
Are you getting students?
yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
What is water of crystallization? Can you tell me? Can you remind? Water of crystallization, water molecules present with the compound. Remember, we have done during the class. Student, please response.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
I don't remember it.
Okay, now I explained it. So, did you get
Huh,
it
then
on?
I understood. Yeah, yeah.
So, in you remember it right now only. In ferrous sulfate,
Hmm.
7 molecules of water of crystallization. In copper sulfate, 5. In calcium sulfate, we will write 2. And in sodium carbonate, that one is 10. So, general
मैम
name,
देखो मतलब मेरा सही था ना.
हाँ, लगभग.
हाँ.
Sodium carbonate, general name of sodium carbonate, can you tell me?
कुछ
That is, no, no, no.
नहीं.
Thanya, general
सोडियम.
name of sodium carbonate.
I know that's so. Uh,
General name of sodium carbonate having 10 molecules of water of crystallization is
मैम 2 मिनट
baking
मैम.
soda, but it was
washing
hydrogen.
soda. Washing soda. Baking soda
वॉशिंग
is
सोडा.
sodium
Sodium
hydrogen
hydrogen.
carbonate. Students, don't think that we forget about this. Okay, just learn right now with me. Okay,
हम्म.
now oxides of
हम्म.
aluminium and zinc are acidic, basic, amphoteric, and neutral.
Acidic.
Prisha,
हाँ जी.
oxides of aluminium and zinc are
Hmm. मैम लेट मी.
Um,
aluminium.
wait, I'm confused. I'm not sure about my
Ha,
answer,
now
ma'am.
now learn it. Oxides of aluminium and zinc are amphoteric.
Non-metallic oxides are acidic, ma'am.
Non-metallic oxides are basic, like carbon. Non-metallic oxides are basic.
Ma'am, no,
Metallic.
ma'am, in the textbook it's
Sorry,
written
sorry,
non-metallic
sorry, sorry,
oxides are
sorry. My
acidic.
mistake. My mistake. My mistake. Non-metallic oxides are
Acidic.
मेटेलिक ऑक्साइड्स आर बेसिक. एक सेकेंड. मेटल से जो बनते हैं लाइक NaOH, CaOH होल ट्वाइस, these are metallic oxides.
Yes, ma'am, they react
हम्म.
with
They,
acids,
yes,
so
yes, these are
so
basic.
they'll be basic
Metallic
chemistry.
oxides are basic, non-metallic oxides are acidic. Okay,
Yes.
non-metallic oxides like H2CO3, carbon non-metal, or like HNO3, sulfates, these are acidic. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
One more thing, but this is exceptional case. Aluminium, oxides of aluminium and zinc are amphoteric. Metallic oxides are basic, non-metallic acidic. Aluminium and zinc exceptional case. They are amphoteric because they act as an acid or base? Both. When they reacts with base, they act as an acid. When they reacts with acid, they act as a base. Okay?
Hmm.
Tanya, are you okay with it?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's all for today's class.